Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to my Fallout 4 Mod Spotlight series, where today we are having a look at the Accelerator Plasma Energy Weapon mod, which is being made by user Quad Rioters, and what this glorious little piece of work looks to add into the game is a fun new energy-based weapon with an impressive amount of customization that I've been having a whole lot of fun with so far, though admittedly I do have a bit of a bias considering I have mentioned on many previous occasions that I felt that the base Fallout 4 game lacked variety in the energy weapon category, so I'm always a sucker for a new energy weapon based mod, and this particular Plasma Accelerator is a wonderful addition to the game, though I have to admit, in its current pistol form you see here, it's kinda large and unwieldy looking, but when you add some other modifications to this thing, it starts to look pretty darn cool and can do some serious damage. So how do you get your hands on one of these? Well, once you do have the mod installed, you will be able to find it in basically any store in the game that will sell plasma weapons already, except for the Institute, and after you've hit level 31. So it is kind of a higher tier weapon, and of course you will also find it on any enemies that may also potentially typically carry a plasma weapon, and that of course does include legendary enemies, so you could get some pretty insane legendary variations of this gun, which is just wonderful. So let's take a quick look at it in our Pip-Boy, and well, I guess what you would call the most basic form of the bolt pistol accelerator here, with the most basic of modifications, will do 64 basic damage, 64 energy damage using plasma rounds, with a firing rate of 33, range of 167, accuracy of 150, and a weight of 4.1. And overall, this is a beautiful looking gun. Like I did say, I do think the pistol version is kind of big and bulky, but the actual design of it is pretty sweet. It looks like something straight out of a sci-fi aliens movie, and yeah, I love the modeling to it, I love the texturing, and as you can see here by the standard material mod, you can actually change the paints on this, so you can make it even cooler. And also with other modifications, you can do a lot of changes to this thing. For instance, we could turn it into the Freestyle Liberty, which is basically a plasma grenade launcher, or perhaps the Half-Life Meltdown, which is a suppressed plasma sniper rifle, or the unending whatever that says up there, which is effectively a heavy machine gun of the plasma variety. So you can really modify this thing to be more or less whatever you want, from even a shotgun to a grenade launcher to a sniper rifle and anything in between, and that is wonderful. So let's actually go and take a look at all the various modifications, then of course we'll do some fire testing. So let us take a look at the basic bolt pistol accelerator here, and in the first category of capacitors we only do have 4. The basic one, which technically is superior damage, a convector one, which will add incendiary damage, which is always nice, an electromagnetic one that adds sort of a pulse effect, and of course, as you can see, much more damage, and then the booster capacitor, which adds a critical damage bonus, which is perfect for the sniper rifles. I mean, so long as you get a good headshot. It doesn't exactly have the best of base damage, but with that critical modifier, oh, it's fun. Now, next we have is barrels, and this is where things start to get really interesting, because you can basically turn it into, like I said earlier, anything from a grenade launcher to a sniper rifle to a shotgun, and that's all done here in barrels. Now, the first barrel is, well, the standard sort of semi-automatic bolt pistol. We then have the concave barrel, which is a shotgun barrel, which will just shoot out a scattering of plasma projectiles, a vented one, which is a machine pistol there, a heavy auto barrel, which is an SMG barrel, the automatic focusing one, which is a sniper barrel, a suppressed heavy focusing one for, well, even better range for sniping, the reactor barrel, which is a fires an arc of plasma. This is basically the grenade launcher version, and that plasma will explode on impact. And then finally a heavy reactor barrel, which does, oh god, a lot of damage and will lob the plasma arcs a little bit further, and it is amazing. Now, the next is, of course, our grip category, where we have either a standard pistol grip, a sleek grip, retracted SMG, expanded SMG, auto sniper, heavy sniper, a solid grip, and then a full solid grip. So again, just whatever you want to choose here, with different levels of accuracy, recoil protection, and of course, improved bash on some of them, which is always fun. Now next is in sights, where we have a pretty good selection of different, well, sights here. From these standard iron sights to reflex to sniper scopes, and of course even night vision. Now, I'm actually going to skip the materials here real quick and go down to monitors, where we either have the standard no monitors, which focus on this area of the gun right here. We can then turn on have a monitor, but that's turned off. So as you can see, it basically just changed the aesthetic from sort of a rectangular pattern in there to a solid screen, which is basically flipped in towards the gun. But if you really want something special, you can have the monitor on, where it's actually a flipped out screen with information on it, and it basically is a recon scope. So you can have a standard reflex scope, but with this monitor, so that it actually will be a reconnaissance scope to track targets with, which is pretty cool. Now, the reason I skipped the materials is to explain something here. Now, up until this point, anything we add on, whether it be capacitors, barrels, pistol grips, it will, of course, change the name up here, as it would with any gun. But it's always going to be, as long as it's the standard material, Accelerator. So if we added on a different capacitor here instead of just the accelerator, or it could be convector or convecting accelerator, as you see there, electromagnetic accelerator, etc. But it's always Accelerator. Now, if we go into materials, that changes. Depending on what paint scheme you go with, changes what the name will be. So the standard is Accelerator, but if we go with wavelength monkey colors, it goes to Typhoon. Quantum cat colors becomes Liberty. Plasma Naga colors becomes Quasar. Vigilant Otter colors become Variable. Unchained Dragon colors become Meltdown. And Niveus Leviathan colors become that Wanguian Wayu thing I probably horribly butchered the name of, and the bits in front of it, like say Bolt, or Critical, Dependent, etc., Serenity, also change. So the material determines the naming scheme, which I quite like. It's not always going to be an assault rifle or a shotgun. That's why we do have weapons over here named the Freestyle Liberty, because we went with that particular paint scheme, or the Half-Life Meltdown, or the Unending Wanguian Wayu, or God, I'm probably butchering whatever that is. And yeah, so I actually really like that. It just doesn't change the paint scheme, it changes the naming convention, which is wonderful. So let us go and take some shots with these, of course starting with our base bolt pistol accelerator, and let us fire. There we go, a fun little plasma weapon with pretty standard plasma effects. Custom sounds, of course, and a nice custom animation there, which I do enjoy. We have that bolt bit that pops out on top, and then we just shove a new one in. So overall, quite nice. The iron sights, though, a little bit lacking, but hey, that's why we have all those other sights to whack on this thing. Now let's take a look at, let's do the unending whatever that is, which of course is an automatic one. And well, actually, let's see what all I've got on this one. So it's the the electromagnetic capacitor, so it's that pulse capacitor, with the heavy auto barrel. So we're basically a pulse heavy machine gun, and it has, as you can see there, that tracking monitor in the bottom left-hand corner, which is why Will over there is currently marked on the recon scope. I did aim at him earlier and it picked him up. So there we are. We have that little screen, and let us fire. There we are. Lovely. Not a whole lot of ammo in the magazine, but you know what? It is an awesome machine gun, and very, very sci-fi in its sound effects. It is just wonderful, and a very cool addition, though boy, does the recoil really, really hit you hard on this thing. Very difficult to keep on target, but a very fun weapon nonetheless. Now let's then take a look at the Half-Life Meltdown, which this one I have the boosted capacitor for that, critical damage, and the suppressed heavy focusing barrel, and of course the fun Meltdown paint scheme there. Very cool. And take a few shots. There we go. Lovely. And of course the reload as per usual. But the gun itself doesn't look as bulky as it used to. Now, does it? If we do quickly, of course, just switch back to the pistol. I mean, look at that thing. It's big, it's bulky, it takes up loads of room on the screen, but then we turn it into a freaking sniper rifle. It's suddenly sleeker, smaller, and much more in line with, frankly, what it should be. But yes, a fun sniper rifle there. And the final one, the Freestyle Liberty, with a convector capacitor to add some burning damage, and the reactor barrel so that we are lobbing plasma arcs at things. Oh yeah, I love this. I think this is my favorite modification for the gun, as fire! Boom. Lobbing plasma arcs of death at the enemy is just wonderful, though with the purple paint scheme I feel like someone from the Vanu Sovereignty, but that's of course the wrong franchise. But yes, a fun weapon, only a couple of shots in it per magazine, but very, very impressive and does a lot of damage. Which means we must now go over to our friend Will and test it out. Normally, of course, we go to the sniper version or something, but you know what? No, I want to try and lob one of these plasma arcs at him, see if I can get him. Well, let's do a test arc here. A little bit lower. And fire! Oh, dead on hit. Perfect. Where is the Radstag? He's in the bushes. Go long! Ooh, not long enough, and that may have scared him off. A higher. Nope. There we go, got him. Now, of course, I, on this particular one, have the lower tier of the convector, or the reactor barrel, rather. If you have the heavier one, it will lob them farther with more accuracy. But, yeah, a wonderful, fun thing to play around with. I mean, come on, who doesn't love plasma explosives? It's just entertaining. But yeah, that is pretty much all I have to talk about for this mod. It has some impressive modifications, some wonderful paint schemes, and I love the naming conventions on this thing. Overall, a very, very cool energy weapon modification, or, well, mod in general, and a great addition to the game, I think. So if you'd like to check this out for yourself, and I definitely suggest that you do, you can take a look at the link in the description as per usual. But that is going to be it for today, my friends. I hope you all have enjoyed, and that you do come back for the next episode. But until that time, thank you for watching, and as always, have a good one!